So I meet the love of my life in 1990. I don't make any money, although I love this job. I made no money. So I figured I got to be responsible and get a better job to make more money. So I go back into the trucking business, much to my dismay. I get a job at U.S. Express. I'm an ops manager. I'm a little bit of everything. I didn't mind the job so much, but I worked it for about a year. And then they went into Chapter 11 bankruptcy, so everything restructured, and it got very stressful. So it's the only job in trucking I ever had that was daytime, because everything happens in the graveyard hours. And I hated it. I got to a point where I hated going to work. I hated trying to keep it alive, because my division was the only division that made money. And so anyway, I'm sitting at my desk one day, thoroughly depressed, because in order for me to stay in trucking and do what I'm good at, I have to go back to graveyard. And everything operationally happens at night. The only daytime jobs in trucking is delivery drivers and sales guys. So I'm at my desk one day, completely lost, like, what am I going to do? And I thought, what could I do, money aside, that I would love to do? I thought of some things that my wife wouldn't ever allow me to do, like bartending or some weird crap. And I thought, because I was always an athlete, I was always around trainers and therapists and things of that nature. And I played pretty high level baseball at that point in my life, amateur stuff, but we were playing a lot of tournaments. And we had a girl on our team who she called herself the team trainer. And really she was a massage therapist that just came out and stretched guys out. But I used her all the time because I thought what she did was great. And I thought, in my head, it's 4 o'clock on a Monday, by the way, when I have this thought. I think, what Nancy does might be kind of cool. I'll look into that. And she taught anatomy, physiology at a therapy school in Tempe, or in Scottsdale. And so I just picked up the phone to call her and pick her brain a little bit about the school and the industry. And, I knew nothing about this industry. And who answered the phone was a counselor. And the counselor was very short with me, but apologetically so. He said, look, I'm running around like crazy trying to prepare for orientation tonight, because we have a new block of a school starting tonight. And so I know it's short notice, but if you want to come as my guest, it's from 6 to 10. Come on down. I'll have a space for you, and you can learn everything you need to know about the school. And I'm not spontaneous. I had no idea what energy was back then. And I hang up the phone, and I'm literally overwhelmed with this energy, this feeling that I've got to go to this school. I'm like, this is crazy. I just was thinking about it 2 seconds ago. I picked the phone back up, call him back, and he goes, I said, sign me up for tonight. He goes, yeah, I told you, I got a space for you. I go, no. I hung up the phone, and I want to start class tonight. He goes, what? I go, I hung up the phone, and it was this energy that came over me. And he got so excited because this school is kind of new agey, kind of woo-wooey, and he's like, oh, you're the kind of guy we like. And so I hang up the phone, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to be in therapy school in 2 hours. And I drive home. I get home at 5:30. I go in, I tell my wife I'm going back to school. And she's like, what are you doing, going to SEC or community college? I know, I'm going to therapy school. She goes, what? You're going to rub what? And she goes, when are you doing this? I'm like, I got to go. It starts in 10 minutes. And ironically, it was 15 minutes from my house. So I get to school. I'm super excited. My wife's not real happy, but I get there. And I was a big gym guy back then. I was pretty buff. And there's another big buff guy there. And we just gravitate towards each other. And we start talking. And 90% of the class was female. But he and I were talking, and the little instructor, the little 4'11" Italian lady, Rosemary, walks in and says, pair up. Everybody get a partner. Okay, so him and I are sitting there talking. We're going to be partners. One of you get in a chair. One of you get behind. We're going to rub shoulders. Him and I looked at each other with all these girls around, and we're like, what the hell did we just do wrong? Like, how did we pair up? And I remember having this first thought of, like, I had all these truckers with me 2 hours ago, and now I got to rub some dude's shoulder. This is going to be weird, but I'm like, guys are going to have issues too. So I went right into his shoulder, and I hit this spot, And he about floored, and he goes, holy shit, how did you go right there? And that was my second kind of epiphany of, oh, like, this is what I'm supposed to do. I was overwhelmed with this energy of, this is my calling. I know that sounds weird and a little cliche and kind of cornball, but I do believe all of us, every human has a unique gift. I think most of us are too afraid to go try and find it or utilize it or cultivate it. But I knew at that moment that was my calling to do what I presently do now. And in that first class, Rosemary, the little 4'11" Italian lady, at the first break, 2 hours in, came over to me, pulled me aside, and she goes, how long have you been doing this? I was like, 2 hours? She goes, no. She goes, are you here just to get licensed and like legitimized? Because clearly you've been doing this a long time. I go, I swear to you, I've never done this ever in my life. And I told her my story, and she gives me a hug and she goes, young man, and I've never forgot this because in 28 years of business, I've had lots and lots of downs, lots of ups, but lots of downs. She goes, I'm going to tell you something right now. You better never quit because in this industry, it's very hard for a male to make it. And you never stop because you have the gift. And through my struggles to present, I've thought of those words and they've really kept me going until where we are today.